What made you go on your villain arc? I spent 3 solid weeks in 7th grade building the perfect robot for our science fair. This thing could actually pick up Lego blocks and sort them by color using tiny sensors I programmed myself. I stayed up until midnight every night in our garage, watching YouTube tutorials, debugging code, and testing motors until my fingers were raw from handling tiny screws. The robot was my masterpiece. I named him Colorbot, and he could grab a red block, scan it, then drop it in the red bucket. Same with blue, green, yellow. I was so proud watching him work perfectly during my final test run. Mrs. Garcia said we could store our projects in her classroom over the weekend before the fair on Monday. Friday after school, I carefully carried Colorbot to room 204 and set him on the back table with everyone else's projects. I made sure his power cord was tucked safely underneath and left a little note taped to his base that said, "Leo's Colorbot, do not touch." I went home that night dreaming about winning first place. Monday morning, I walked into the classroom early to check on Colorbot before the judging started. His spot on the table was empty, just gone. I looked everywhere, checked under tables, asked other kids if they'd seen him. Nothing. My stomach dropped to my feet as the reality hit me. Then I saw him, sitting pretty on the display table in the front of the room with a shiny new nameplate that read, "Blake's Smart Sorter." Blake Morrison, the principal's son, was standing next to my robot explaining to the judges how he built it. He'd even added some cheap LED strips to make it look fancier. I marched right up and told the judges it was mine. Blake laughed and said I was jealous because my project probably broke or something. Mrs. Garcia pulled me aside and whispered that I should have labeled my project better, and maybe I just forgot where I put it. The judges believed Blake because his dad ran the whole school. My parents told me to let it go when I got home crying. They said making a big deal would just cause trouble, and Blake's family had too much power in this town. But I couldn't let it go. That robot was 3 weeks of my life. 3 weeks of learning and building and failing and trying again. So I built another one, Colorbot 2.0. But this time I added something special. A hidden facial recognition camera that I programmed to recognize Blake's face. And when it saw him, it would activate a secret mode I called Justice Protocol. The district science fair was 2 weeks later. Blake strutted around with my robot, now painted silver to look even more impressive. He'd been practicing his presentation, memorizing all the technical details I'd figured out through trial and error. When the judges came to his table, he launched into this confident speech about his innovative design process. That's when I pulled out my phone and triggered Justice Protocol. Colorbot suddenly stopped mid-demonstration. His little screen that normally showed color data lit up with something completely different. Security camera footage, clear as day, showing Blake walking into our classroom that Friday evening, looking around to make sure no one was watching, then unplugging my robot and carrying it out. The footage kept playing. Blake in his garage spray painting my robot silver. Blake looking up YouTube videos about how Lego sorting robots work so he could understand what he'd stolen. Blake practicing his presentation in his bedroom mirror, lying over and over about building something that was mine. The whole gymnasium went dead silent. Parents, teachers, judges, everyone just staring at this massive screen showing Blake stealing my work. His face went bright red and he started stammering about how the footage was fake, but the timestamp was right there. Friday, 6:47 p.m. Blake Morrison stealing Leo's Colorbot. His dad came pushing through the crowd, looking like he wanted to disappear into the floor. The head judge asked me to explain how I'd hidden a camera in my robot, and I walked them through every piece of code, every wire connection, every design choice. Blake couldn't answer a single technical question about his project. They disqualified Blake immediately, banned him from entering any science fair for the rest of middle school.